we dive into the video, you guys can probably tell bookcase is empty. There's boxes in the back. Randall's sleeping. That's not part of this. The point is, my wife and I have finally purchased our first home. We were incredibly excited. It has been a long time coming, but the place is an absolute disaster. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Excuse you. I'm gonna take your collar off. Is that okay? Just so you don't dingle while I record. So anyway, the place is a mess. We got boxes of stuff everywhere, so content over the next couple of weeks is going to be kind of iffy. That's why I wanted to film this and get this out this weekend. This video will have come out right around the same time as the release of the upcoming Marvel MTG set, and that's actually what we're gonna be talking about today, but I wanted to let you all know that my shorts, whether it be Magic Lore Monday or anything else that I post throughout the middle of the week, or long form content, whatever, it just may take me a little bit to get situated, and I know I'm just starting out, but I do appreciate the patience. To all of you who subscribed recently, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much. I really greatly appreciate the support. And now, let's go ahead and get to the video. By now, you've seen the title, Does Marvel Belong in Magic? That is largely what we're going to be talking about today. I do have some notes that I've written down because I want to cover a couple of things with you all before we dive into it. If you like this kind of content, please comment down below. Let me know that you enjoy it. Let me know what you want to see in the channel in the near or far future. And let's talk about some Universes Beyond. So first of all, let's just talk about Universes Beyond in general. And hold on, I think we got to do something here. Is that any better? Yeah, I don't know. I think I look more washed out now. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so I started playing Magic in February of I actually don't remember. Maybe it's February 24. Either way, I've not been playing Magic for a very long time. I gave you all my history on the first video, so if you're curious about that, you can go look at that video, check it out if you want to. But I haven't been playing Magic recently for a very long time, and I almost exclusively play Commander. I say almost because I do a little bit of pre-release here and there, but it's pretty much only Commander. That being said, Universes Beyond actually wasn't what got me into Magic. I was aware of it because my brother's a huge Warhammer 40k fan, so he had talked about it prior to that and, shown me his cards, and those looked cool, I just knew nothing about them. But since I've gotten into it, we've had a number of Universes Beyond sets. So typically with products and ideas like this, they are done to welcome new players into a game. They are crossovers that say, hey, you may not like our original fantasy content, but what if we took your favorite IP, put it in our game, and then you started playing it? In doing that, Wizards of the Coast, or Hasbro really, is able to bring in these new players and say, hey, we also have Fallout, we also have My Little Pony, we have these Marvel Secret Layers, we have XYZ, we have your favorite non-Magic game in Magic universes. So now that they're the same thing, you're already playing Magic, why not look at the original stuff we do? So from a business standpoint, it makes sense. I fully understand it. However, I don't know that every IP that they do belongs in Magic. I certainly don't want more Universes Beyond than I do Universes Within in a year. So when it comes to the release timeline, the set releases, I definitely want more by a nominal margin in universe than I do Universes Beyond. And before we can actually talk about Marvel specifically, let's talk a little bit about the different types of fantasy, because that's what Magic the Gathering is. It is a fantasy trading card game. So if we look at Universes Beyond like Lord of the Rings, that to me makes sense as a crossover with Magic the Gathering. There are elves, there's goblins, there's orcs, there are things that make sense within this older medieval style fantasy that Magic the Gathering already has. That makes sense to me. Those two things can coincide, and I don't really bat an eye because they are very similar in concept and in nature and in how those stories are typically told. Not to mention that the magic, literally the magic within Lord of the Rings and within Magic the Gathering are relatively similar already. That makes sense to me. Now let's talk a little bit more about Final Fantasy. I'm biased. If you wanna, I'm a huge Square Enix nerd. Someone commented on one of my shorts recently. I was wearing a Kingdom Hearts t-shirt and they saw my tattoos. By chance, are you a fan of Kingdom Hearts? Yes, absolutely I am. So I'm a huge Square Enix nerd. Been playing Final Fantasy since Final Fantasy VII, the original, way back when I was a child. So I can't really give an unbiased opinion on this, but what I can say is that I personally do think that Final Fantasy, while being not like Lord of the Rings in concept in terms of how it relates to Magic the Gathering, it's certainly closer than Marvel or Avatar or Fallout. To me, anyway. I was never a big Fallout fan, but that's neither here nor there. So Final Fantasy, while not exactly a high fantasy or an old school fantasy, To me, at least older Final Fantasy, the characters feel a little bit more in line with what Magic the Gathering itself is trying to do, or what I think it's been trying to do for the last 30 years, than a Marvel does. All that being said, let's go ahead and dive into Marvel and why I don't think it necessarily belongs in Magic. Overarching theme here, for all of you watching, I want you to know that I genuinely don't care if they print Universes Beyond sets that I think don't fit in Magic. I just won't participate in that set. Star Trek, a great example. I don't give a fuck about Star Trek. I can skip the set. I can save some cash. Maybe some fun vehicles will come out. Cool, I have a vehicle deck. I got artifact decks. I'm sure there's gonna be artifact and vehicle support with spaceships and whatnot. Maybe I'll pick up some singles. I doubt it. Just don't care about Star Trek at all. So I don't have to participate in it. And I think that's great advice for anyone who says, oh, I don't like this in my card game. Great, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Go buy the next set that you like. And if you think all the sets suck, just skip all the sets and buy cards that you want. Now, while I don't care what they do as far as Universes Beyond is concerned, I don't know that Marvel belongs here because I just can't really see a direct relation. I understand it's a universe beyond Magic, hence the title of Universes Beyond, but it doesn't really fit. You know, it's superheroes, it's humans, I mean, maybe you could argue that mutants are I don't know, man. I think it's a huge stretch. Insert Mr. Fantastic Magic card right here. I think it's a huge stretch because they aren't nearly as similar as like a Lord of the Rings or like a Final Fantasy, in my opinion, even though while that's a little bit different, I still think it's more similar than Marvel. Certainly not like Warhammer 40k. I know some of that is futuristic, but to me, even that fits. I think that fits a little better. I don't know enough about it, but just looking at the cards and knowing the stories from what my brother has told me, I would say that fits better than Marvel does. So no, I don't think Marvel technically belongs in Magic if we're talking strictly how it relates to the game and its original content. However, I'm not going to be a gatekeeper. I'm not going to be someone who excludes something or some people if they disagree with me, if they want Marvel and if they want more Marvel content, and we're going to get it, so it doesn't matter, but if they want more Marvel Magic the Gathering in the future, I'm not going to be one to say boo to any of that, because at the end of the day, it's a card game for children that a lot of adults play, and as adults we should understand that we're here to play it for fun. Overall, don't know if it necessarily belongs isn't really even the best word. I don't know if it fits. I don't think it does. It's not for me. I think a lot of the cards are cool looking, and as a nerd, as an X-Men and a Marvel enjoyer, I think from a collector perspective, and this is actually interesting, my brother brought this up to me, we were talking about it, and he said the more he looked at it from a collector standpoint, the more he was able to enjoy Marvel as a Magic the Gathering product. And I agree with that. I think that's a great perspective from which to view it, because you're not necessarily saying, oh, I love all these cards, I can't wait to slot them in all my decks. You're saying, hey, some of these alternate art treatments and some of these foilings or whatever, these are gonna look great in a couple of slabs that I pick up, or these are gonna look great in my trade binder or my secret layer binder or my collection, whatever it is. These are more for collecting, and I can appreciate them from that standpoint alone. I don't need to try to appreciate them from a deck building standpoint if I'm not going to build a deck with them. That being said, there are a number of cards that I fucking hate, and we're gonna talk about them right now. The first one being City Pigeon. Not only are we returning to Magic's most popular plane, New York City, we now have a card and several more examples of this happening. It has not been printed once, it has now been printed a second time, not even a year later, the same card, City Pigeon. We now have 2 printings of City Pigeon in Magic the Gathering. For this example, and maybe the next few, fuck everything I just said, because that is a load of shit. I'm upset about it. I have a birds deck. I don't even know if I run City Pigeon in that. I think I run a lot of those goofy little bird cards from Avatar in it. Maybe I run City Pigeon. I don't know, but the fact that we have 2 printings of it, I think, is banana pancakes. The next one I want to talk about, I have a list here on Scryfall. The Whizzer, Classic Speedster. The Whizzer is 3 and a red for a legendary creature human hero for an uncommon. He's a 3/3 with first strike and haste. I don't know anything about this Marvel character. What I do know is that I hate the art, and his name is the Whizzer, and he's piss yellow. I don't love that. Weirdly enough, I'm a fan of the piss lands from Aetherdrift because I liked Aetherdrift as a set. I'm also a minority Aetherdrift enjoyer, so whatever, maybe that's inconsistent, I don't know. I just think the Whizzer looks dumb and he makes me upset and bummed out looking at him. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the other card that I want to look at. The rest of the Spider-Man reprints, anything that was printed in Spider-Man that was reprinted in Marvel, I think is just lazy. I think it's filler content. I don't know if there's a specific reason they did that. If there is, and you guys know, comment down below, enlighten me so I can be a little bit less bummed out about it. While I don't need to play those cards, and I agree with what I just said because I said it, it is still a bummer because to me, that's just lazy printing. They're saying, oh, we're back in New York, we're in Marvel again. It makes sense that Spider-Man would show up again. I kind of hate that. I think you should be a little bit more creative, and I think that as this multi-million or billion-dollar international company, you should have the resources to be more creative than just say, oh, we need 30 more cards? Pick from Spider-Man, we're back in New York. I don't like that. Anyway, I digest. We're gonna talk about Storm. We'll talk about both versions of Storm. The one from the pre-con, and then one from just the main set. So Storm Wind Rider is 1 green, white for a legendary creature mutant hero 4/4 flying. Creatures with flying can't attack you or block creatures you control. The Sandworm convergence effect, that's cool, I guess. Whenever you cast a spell that targets one or more creatures, those creatures gain flying until end of turn. It's cool, and I understand that we already had in the Marvel Secret Lair previously, and then has now gotten reprinted in this set. We've already had an actual like Storm card. So good on Wizards of the Coast for trying not to just redo that or make a different version, but same effect of that. But Celestia creatures, Celestia combat, not new, man. I understand that in Magic there are color sets that do XYZ tactic the best, and that's the best at what they do. Wolverine, Marvel, nice. I understand that is what they are good at doing, but again, we've seen it so many times, and while this is a different iteration of that, and it makes sense because she gives creatures flying, because she lifts things up with nature and lightning and whatnot. I love Storm as a Marvel character, and I just don't love this one. Weirdly enough, Storm Queen of Wakanda, I think, is a little cooler. So she's 3 and Celestia, so 3 green-white for a legendary creature, mutant noble hero, flying 4/5. Whenever Storm attacks until end of turn, another target attacking creature gains flying and gets +X/+0, where X is Storm's power. Whenever a creature with flying attacks you, Storm deals damage equal to your power to that creature. I think this is a little bit cooler. It's a little bit less on the nose as far as what the commander wants to be doing, and I think you can get a little bit more creative with this one. It doesn't scream anything at the face value of it. The art is cooler in my opinion. I think the lore is very cool behind, if you didn't know, because I didn't, had to look it up. I think the lore is very cool behind Storm Queen of Wakanda because yes, she actually does marry King T'Challa at some point in the comic books. I think that's sweet. I think that's very cool. I think this card is better. Overall, I think they kind of did my girl Storm dirty. That sucks because I like Storm. Just kind of a bummer. And the last one I'll talk about as far as cards that I don't much care for in this set and that I think could have been more creative. And I understand that I haven't really offered like solutions to these cards being better, but this is my channel. I'm here to talk about shit I don't like. I was pretty open with that in the first video, and if you were gonna complain about me complaining, sorry about you. Thanos the Mad Titan. He's Mardu, so red, white, black for a legendary creature, eternal villain, 4/4 with death touch and lifelink. He has power up for a colorless mana and WUBRG. So he is a 5-color commander. That's cool, that makes sense for Thanos with the stones and all that. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on Thanos. Choose odd or even. Destroy each other creature with mana value of the chosen quality. Activate each power-up ability only once. Reduce the cost by his mana cost if he entered this turn. 0 is even. WUBRG board wipe tribal. Fucking yawn, brother. Boring. I've said on the channel before, and any of my friends or people I play Magic with understand this, I think board wipes are just a boring way to play the game. Now, I think generic board wipes are a boring way to play this game. I understand that Thanos, you have the option to choose odd or even, and that gives you a little bit more flexibility, but it really only puts 2 +1/+1 counters on Thanos. So I guess you could do like a 5-color +1/+1 counter deck, and you have access to blue for interaction and white and green for protection. I don't know, man. I think this is boring. It's flavorful. I'll give them that, you know, with the Thanos snap and all that, but it just seems boring. Other than just board wipe tribal, I can't see any other way to build this, and board wipe tribal sounds fucking abysmal to play against, and frankly, even if I like board wipes, I think I would get bored with playing that. It's the last card I'll talk shit on, because it is, in my opinion, one of the worst possible commanders in this set, just because he is boring. Maybe some people like it. I don't know. If you like Thanos, if you're seeing something I'm not, comment down below. Please let me know, because just looking at it, it just looks like, it looks tired is what it looks like. Again, flavorful, cool and all, but like, I don't know, man. Board Wipe Tribal sounds kind of dumb. Anyway, let's talk about some cards that I like. Starting with Jennifer Walters, and on the flip side, Sensational She-Hulk. Jennifer Walters is one of the white for a legendary creature, Human Advisor Hero, 2/3. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. That's awesome. I play a little bit of CEDH, and I run Sisay as my CEDH commander. Sisay can find this. It's another Cutzel effect. It's great. Now, as a commander, for 3 green, white, you can transform Jennifer Walters, activate only as a sorcery. And on her flip side, she is the Sensational She-Hulk. She is the Sensational She-Hulk. 3 colorless, green, white, so you can cast her on this side. For legendary creature, Game of Hero, Reach, Trample, 6/6. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Still on that side, that's very cool. Whenever a creature you control is dealt damage, you may have the Sensational She-Hulk deal that much damage to any target. Do this only once each turn. That's a cool effect. Protection, fight spells. I saw a video of VeggieWagon talking about this. It sounded really cool. I don't want to talk too much about this because this is not what I've used this for. This is absolutely going right into Sisay on the front side, and I don't care about the back side of this card. Moving on. Now let's talk about Monica Rambeau. This is a character in Marvel with which I'm not very familiar, but Monica Rambeau is 2 and a white for a legendary creature, Human Hero, Flying Prowess, 3/3. Prowess is whenever you cast a non-creature spell, the creature gets +1/+1 to end a turn. Flying Prowess, 3/3 for 2 and a white. That's pretty good. And you're in Boros because for 2 colorless, a red, white, transform Monica Rambeau, activate only as a sorcery. So you're in Boros, pretty easy to cast non-creature spells. You could do auras. You could do artifacts. You could do Spellslinger. I don't know. This seems neat. But now you flip her over. 2 red, white. So for 6 total mana, legendary creature, elemental hero, flying, hexproof, pretty neat. And prowess for a 4/4 flyer. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. That's insane. I can see this getting out of hand very quickly, and actually the more I look at it, the more I kind of want to build it. I'm going to talk about a couple things that I may build from this set, maybe not, but this might be added to that list. That's a pretty neat card. A lot you can do with that. I like that a lot. Damn, and the art's so sick too. Holy hell. The comic art and wow. Yeah, that art's super dope. I'll put it on the screen. Wow. They did kind of crush it with some of the comic art. We'll talk about that here in a little bit later. Anyway, next up, we're to talk about Bruce Banner. This was one of the cards that was spoiled and a lot of people freaked out about, myself included. I think this card is awesome. So Bruce Banner is 1 blue for a legendary creature, Human Scientist Hero, 1/1. Now for XX, you can tap them and draw X cards at sorcery speed. I think that's a lot better than a lot of people gave it credit for. That would be a very crucial part of the way I would build the deck. But for 2 red, green, transform Bruce Banner, activate only as a sorcery. I know what you're wondering. What does Bruce Banner transform into? We're gonna find out together. Oh my God, he turns into the Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk is 2 red, green. For legendary creature, Gamma Berserker Hero, Reach, Trample, 8/8. He has Enrage. How fitting. Whenever the Incredible Hulk is dealt damage, put a 1/1 counter on him. If he's attacking, untap him, and there's an additional combat phase after this. There's gotta be any number of ways to give yourself infinite combats with this. This probably combos with a fucking ham sandwich. I would be lying if I said I did not include a Caltrops in the list that I put together for this potential commander deck. However, I don't want it to just be focused on that, but if you do, it's a really easy way to win the game. This can be really busted. You're essentially in Gruul forced combats with access to blue, holding up 10 to 15 pieces of counter magic because you know you're gonna be the arch enemy at the table because you're just gonna beat someone in the face with an 8/8 trampler. That's pretty insane. Great card. May build it. If I build anything from this set, it'll be Bruce Banner or it will be King T'Challa. Wow, Andy, what a great segue. King T'Challa is 1 white-blue for a legendary creature, Human Noble Hero with Flash, 3/2. Whenever a player draws their second card each turn, you draw a card. He is a better fairy mastermind for only 1 more mana in 2 colors. I love that. Now for 4 white and blue, so for 6 mana total, transform King T'Challa at sorcery speed. You flip him, he becomes a 3/3 flash double striker, preventing all damage that we dealt to him, and whenever he deals combat damage to your player, draw a card. This has Azorius Tempo Control Group Hug written all over it. I don't have a deck like that. I'd like to have a deck like that. So I'm actually leaning more towards this one than Bruce Banner because I already have a Teamer deck. I don't have an Azorius deck. I think this would be really, really cool. And whenever a player, not an opponent, whenever a player draws their second card each turn, you draw a card. That's phenomenal. I want to give you cards, but I want to draw more cards than I'm giving you. And that's going to still give me more advantage and put me in a better position than I put you in. And then I'm going to snack you with a 3/3 double striking Black Panther that does not take any damage. I think that's pretty good. So I'm probably gonna build that if I build anything from the set, but let's move on because we are talking too much about the cards, and that's not what we're doing here today. This one I think is crazy. Scientist Supreme of AIM. So for Dimir, blue-black, you get a legendary creature, human scientist villain, 2/2. You may pay 2 life, don't need to tap them or anything, pretty crazy. Pay 2 life, copy target activated or triggered ability you control from an artifact source. You may choose new targets for the copy, activate only during your turn, and only once each turn. This is an immediate slot into Brea. This is an extra Brea ETB. This is an extra Brea activated ability. It's great. It's great. I haven't heard anyone talking about this card. I haven't seen anyone on YouTube talking about this card. I love it. I think it's very good. I think it's definitely more busted than people are giving it credit for. Maybe busted's not the right word. I don't know. But it does look sick. One honorable mention, because if you look back there, I love the goodest boys. I mean, you're not going to get a gooder boy than that. You're the best boy, aren't you? I love you. He's the best boy. You're not going to get a better boy than that, but you're going to get close with Lucky the Pizza Dog. Lucky the Pizza Dog is 1 and a green for a legendary creature, dog, 2/2. Whenever you cast a cat, dog, or hero spell, create a food token. At the beginning of each end step, if you gain life this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Lucky, and he's bringing you a piece of pizza and winking at you with a smile on his face. I might want to build this commander. Take back everything I said. This is better than King T'Challa. This is better than Bruce Banner because he's so motherfucking cute. This dog seems awesome. This card seems awesome. Maybe I'll build this. I don't want Randall to get jealous, but Lucky the Pizza Dog, honorable mention. And then for the rest of the set, the new land cycle is cool. Gleaming Bastion, I think, is one. Training something? Gathering Palace and Gleaming Bastion. The ones that they come in untapped, you can tap them for colorless, or you can tap for one of their 2 colors if it is the land that you played this turn, or if you control a basic. For casual commander, I think it's great. I think that's awesome. And then like I was talking about earlier, a lot of the comic book arts are really, really sick. Actually, I'll throw a few on screen that I really like. I don't know that Magic necessarily belongs or fits. I don't know that Marvel necessarily belongs or fits in the Magic space, but at the end of the day, it's a card game that we are all supposed to be playing for fun. This is a hobby. This could be something that, yeah, I'm really passionate about it. I have a fucking YouTube channel about it. But even with being passionate about Magic the Gathering, at the end of the day, I still understand it's a card game. We are playing, I just gleeked like crazy. We're just playing this game to have fun. You know, we have adult money and free will, and Magic the Gathering loves that. And I think the true magic of Magic is the Gathering, where we come together as friends and play our silly little card game, acting like we're wizards, tapping lands to cast spells. And to be able to do that as a 30-year-old adult, unabashedly so, I think that's pretty cool. Thank you all for watching. You let me know what you think about Marvel and Magic the Gathering in the comments down below. Do you think it fits? Am I missing something? Is there a better connection that I'm just not aware of, or with which I'm not familiar, or that I'm just completely fucking blind to? If that's the case, let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're brand new or if you haven't already. I get a lot more views than I expect on some of these videos, so I know for a fact that the majority of you are not subscribed, so if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys the next time we talk about Magic. Maybe, just maybe, me and Randall, come here buddy, we'll see you in our new house. He's gonna get a backyard, and he has no idea, and he's gonna lose his fucking mind. All right, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.